Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Sorry, we were quite busy this morning, and but we did want to punch up and give you a view of what was happening for a little bit. And let me just bear with me. Europe was moving last night, and we have members in Europe. We do in Germany, Hungary, um, and in other places. And I already heard from a number of them that they were on it. Um, we were not on it. I did not run the program overnight. Didn't feel a need. We've got good profits for the week, but we've got other trades working. Let me bring this into view. Bear with me. I just want to review. Okay, so what do we have going on? This is absolutely classic and going to give you some insight as to who's running and who's controlling these markets. And it is not the American people. It's not individuals. It isn't. You know that instinctively. Won't insult anybody's intelligence here. So, and it isn't, conspiracy theory shit. It just is. You know it isn't. There's no way, especially today with the technology that's available. So let's look at and we can't change that, by the way. We can't change it. Let me just stop for a moment. The markets are rigged. We know it, right? They got unlimited firepower. The Federal Reserve, they got unlimited capital. Everyone has put all their retirement money into folks like BlackRock and these huge, huge vanguards. So they can push these markets anytime they want. And they're in concert with the other central banks. So if anyone thinks that the markets are moving because Joe Blow is driving down I-4, or I-95, or I-10, and he called his broker at Merrill Lynch and he bought 100 shares of Apple and everyone did that, you're, yeah, that's just not happening. And it was never happening, but there was the impression that that's what it is. It is, this is the biggest con going. All right. And it's going to keep going this way because, God love the American people and I love the American people, right? But, they're busy. They're busy working. They're raising kids. They got other priorities going on in their lives. And this is something that is never taught to them. It isn't exposed to them. And it's by design. And they don't want them to be, suspect on this, by the way. By the way, have you seen the video or the audio tapes of the former DNC chairman back in the days of LBJ and one of LBJ's henchmen? The dialogue between the two, putting the assassination of JFK right where it belongs, right on LBJ. Yeah, you might want to hear that. Um, that was interesting. If you haven't heard it, Google it. If you don't know the story, it's quite a story. Always happy to discuss it. Very, but we won't go off on to JFK. But speaking of conspiracy theories, I mean, they killed the guy. I mean, obviously, um, they were going after Bobby Kennedy was going after LBJ for something called well, they were going to put him in jail, and they had him for corruption. Before Biden, LBJ would make Biden like look like a pauper when it comes to corruption. He was one corrupt bastard, and he wasn't going to get kicked off the ticket, and he wasn't going to be put in jail for corruption. He had the motive, he had the means, and and they put it right on him in the audio. You'll hear it. You don't know the backdrop, but it is accurate and it is dead on. So, any case. Eh, you know, and we know this now. So this goes off, the VIX goes off at 3:50 a.m. and it goes off down. Now, the US Treasury has a war room. I don't know if you know this or not. I don't even know if the video is still available. Back in 2008, when we had the financial crisis, there was a loss of confidence. And there was a video made by the guy by the name of Javers something. And he worked for CNBC. I don't think he's around anymore. And he made a video and they let him into what they called the war room of the US Treasury. And there in the bowels of the US Treasury, there's a bunch of guys with a bunch of, stock market screens from all over the world. And they come to work at about 4 in the morning. And he was showing how we got speed phones to this hedge fund that, they can reach anybody from there. You get a phone call from them, you're going to pick it up. We don't get the phone call, but so it's not unusual for the markets to move, at about 4 in the morning. And Europe is coming online too, right? So, hey Teddy, you're a good boy. You're a good boy. So at 350, the VIX turns down. And what does the ES do at 335, a little bit before? It goes long. And if you took that trade, you'd be up 4,700 bucks. Now, if you wait until 9:30, get your little key star out of bed, um, you're not on it. Or if you try to get on it, it's going to be, a little more difficult, but you're not going to get the big chunk. This one was at 430. Look at that. 8 grand. This one was at 205, the Dow. 3 grand. And then the Russell, a little bit of a flagger there. Not sure why the Russell isn't participating, which is noteworthy because the speculators in the US really like to play the Russell. So there's a little divergence there. But that was the big trade. But don't bother shorting the VIX. Not a good idea. But let's call that 4 grand. I'm going to round 4, 8, 12. There's $15,000 in profits that kicked in, in the wee hours of the morning. So it is a good time. So if you are in Europe, you're in a good position because most Americans are sleeping. But Swing Machine can be programmed to pick up those trades. It can be programmed to send your phone a buzzer, wake you up if you want it. You can do that, right? It's not against the law. But a beautiful, and then of course the Bitcoin. And when did that go off? The 15th at 825. So here's the Bitcoin. Everyone's involved in the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin is a distraction to the real game. Stocks, individual stocks are a distraction to the real game. The real game is trading, and they don't want you doing it. And they certainly don't want you using technology. They don't. They absolutely do not. Some countries won't allow it. Even here in the States, some brokerages don't allow you to do it, and they're never going to allow you to do it. They want you listening to them. They want you turning into the media. You know the drill. And you get some guy, he's got big black rim glasses. And he's like, I think the inflation rate is this, and I think that the deflation rate is that, and I think interest rates are doing this, and I think the Federal Reserve is really in control. They're doing a really, really nice job. And I think Apple's going to come out with some new apps, and they just start spinning some bullshit story. Banks deem it too risky. Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, too risky to trade. Yeah, I know. Too risky. You can't time the markets, ba 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 ba. So, believe what you want to believe. I'm not here to change your belief system. I'm not, you know, you want to get the vaccine, get the vaccine. You want to put your money into Vanguard and, go to work every day and shave and hope it's there when you retire. You go right ahead and do it. Go for it. Have a good time. Do it. I don't care. I don't. I absolutely don't. I mean, we need that. I mean, I'm being truthful. They won't. We need ignorant money in the market. That's what makes the market. If we were, having to trade with everybody, it would be immensely difficult. And for them too, much more difficult for them. much more difficult, right? It's extremely easy for us, or I'm going to say easier. You do need to learn, right? I'm not suggesting that we've cornered the market. I'm not suggesting that, that you're going to be right on every single trade, but you need to get your head in the game. Come on. If you, but there's a whole segment of population. I was telling Susan the story about because it broke last night. I thought it was a big deal. I don't even know if it'll be a big deal. It probably won't even be mentioned on in the media about this tape coming out about these two very, very high. I mean, the head of the DNC, I mean, it's pretty high in the 1960s, and a confidant and longtime confidant of LBJ talking amongst themselves specifically about the assassination and both of them putting it on LBJ. There's the audio tape. Now, you would think that's probably the lead story today. You would think, but it won't be. It won't be. And when I described, and I happen to know the backdrop on a lot of this, but because I do like to read, and I fully believe it. I absolutely do. I don't think there's any doubt whatsoever that that's what went down. But but Susan said to me that, Don, even if that is made public, even if, do you think any of the younger people, you know, working today are even going to give a shit? Are you even going to know? And they won't. I mean, we have people, that are holding elected office and they don't even know what Vietnam was. They don't even know. They don't even know what it was about. They don't even know, they just don't. And we just continue on. So, any case, I don't know. And I have to agree. I have to agree with Susie on that one. You know, and so the point being is, um, don't believe me. It's not a question of believing me. It's not a question of believing anyone. Um, be skeptical. I think that's good. I think that's sign of a critical mind. I'm a very skeptical person. Be skeptical, but have beliefs of your own and act on them. Whatever it is, whatever it is, we're only going this way once. Do what you think is right and be careful, if you are being influenced, on the Reddits and the crypto crowd and all of that. Um, you know, I don't know what it's going to be. I'm not telling you not to do anything. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just telling you, keep your thinking caps on. Be skeptical. They changed the rules. Trust me, I could go over a chapter and verse. I don't want to sound like an older guy, but I've been at this a while. They changed the rules. The game is rigged. It is, so you just have to embrace it, embrace it. It's great, so we now have the technology, we now have the freedom. Not all countries do though, right? So if you're listening and you're in another part of the world and you don't have access to the trade station, then you're not as free as you think you are. And maybe you want to get hold of your politicians and find out why the F you can't do what the Americans are doing. Or I understand, I think it's free in Germany and Israel and Hungary. So there are some countries, but some there aren't. Canada, Jesus, Canada. But maybe that's going to change with Castro's son heading out. Kidding, kidding. No, I'm not. You guys have all heard that, right? That Trudeau was Castro's bastard child with his wife. Anywho, I believe that one too. I do. Um, it's a crazy world, isn't it? Beautiful trade. And that's all it is. It's just another trade. Do we get them all? No. Do we, we don't. And now I'm sure there's a headline to this, right? Market moved on account of whatever, right? I mean, I can just imagine, right? Let's one of our favorite little sources. We don't go there every day, but let's go see. Um, Here we go. We got consumer prices soared over 21. Did that come out at but that that you wouldn't have thought would have been. See, this is the thing. After rising for five, it's expected high consumer prices in December, the highest. So consumer prices rose. So you would have thought that would have been a bad reaction, but that's the thing, like, but apparently somebody probably had the numbers in advance or, you know, it doesn't matter, you know. You have to assume they have the numbers in advance, right? I mean, it's government, it's quasi-government. You have any questions, let us know. And you do. If you've ever had a fascination with who killed JFK, make sure you hear the video. And if you got any questions about, who was Mac, right? Who was Mac? I love telling the story. Susan was listening. She's like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Um, if anybody wants to hear it, you let me know. I can give you the cliff notes in 5 minutes. Otherwise, I won't. But he killed him, no doubt about it. And he did get shot. He got shot at, a few times. And he got shot from the front. One of them hit him in the neck, right through the windshield. Okay, so let's just nose around and show you a few things here. Let's take a look at the S&P, right? So this is the S&P. This is all we've done, right? This is such a beautiful tool, right? This is so it now tells us here, this is all being done by machine. You might favor the long side, but it's also, look at this. This is printing on its own. Profit zone for this long. Where was the long? Let me show you. And we pointed this out in our nightly video last night, right here. I'll put a yellow dot, huh? How about a yellow dot so we can see it right here? That this signal right here showed up right when the price hit there. That's when it shows up. This brick is 1,000. This is 2,000. This is 3,000. This is 4,000. You're up about 4,200 bucks. And this is telling you, hey, knucklehead, Don, call myself a knucklehead. Hey, you chucklehead, you knucklehead, you might want to take some profit. So if I scaled in with 10 micros, which is comparable to one mini, I can do some scaling. I could come out with half, let the other half run. I could do that sort of thing. Could. Now I know what you're looking at. You're saying, well, I see, what we did. We came from here and we came up, and this is a Fibonacci retracement and all that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Maybe, maybe. But that stuff can get you in trouble. But a beautiful view. This was the over here, this was the election. And look at these C points too, right? By the way, if all you did was just follow these and just played for one brick, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 15 trades in a row, all winners, 15 grand. Now this is over time. When was that? Do we count? Yeah. So that is November 6th. So that's November 6th. And so November, December, January. That's 3 months. So 15 grand. But what happens is people don't have the patience. Now I got to make 15 grand today, which is fine, if you have the skill set and have some tools that, you're not going to do that every day by any means or every once in a while. But you could have you know, you would have to have, the patience of Job and be very disciplined, but just do that. The frustration here would be leaving a ton of money on the table because there's plenty of money to be left. The stop, by the way, in order to do this, you have to have a stop, and the stop has to be $2,100. So if you were to play that and you get it wrong, you have to be prepared to lose 2,100 bucks, but you got 15 in a row. Would that work? It could. Now you'd be like, well, Bag, I can't sit here for 3 months and get 15 trades. No, that would be so you program it and you program it to go to your phone, to your email, or you just program it to go in. You got to work not just hard, but you got to work smart. I'm sorry. I cut myself off there. I'm assuming the mic was open, but yeah, this is a resistance level. This is a support level. I don't know how much of that you were hearing me. Oh, but what I counted was 15 winning trades over a 3 month period. Every single one of them won, um, and would have paid $1,000 a piece, 15 grand. Um, Now you could say I don't have the patience to wait on that. Well, that's fine. You could build in an alert. You could build it to go in, and have it done. If you were going to trade like that, though, and take every one of these C points, you have to be prepared to lose $2,100. Because if it goes wrong, you got to have a stop, and it's got to be two bricks and a little bit. $2,100 is your risk. But if you did that, you would have won on all 15 of them. This is resistance, so this would have been support, and this one broke, got established, got challenged, failed, found support again, and go. So for the S&P, 58.74 is the line in the sand. Now, are we going to shoot right straight up here? We might. Chances are we're going to pull back. There'll be some other people, saying, "Okay, I'm gonna get short now, or I'm gonna get long." They'll, whatever they'll do, whatever. But they will take it to wherever the machines at the hedge funds are programmed, and they know they have the order flow. They're going where the retail people aren't, and forcing them to cover and to cough up their bread. That's basically what it is. And so what happens is, see, when we're running up here, like up here, the retail crowd, they won't short. They'll buy. We know that, right? We have all kinds of tools to see that. They're buying. Then they get killed. We get a little bounce and they get killed. And then what do? They short. They short in the hole. Then they get killed. Oh, I should have. Oh man. And then they buy. And then they get killed. Then they short. Same thing. They get killed. Then they buy. Then they get killed. And then they got short yesterday and they're getting killed over and over again. It's like a guy, you tell it's like the golfer telling the golf coach, I keep hitting the ball to the right. So I keep aiming left. It keeps going to the right. I keep aiming more left. It keeps goes further to the right. They don't know what they don't know. But it's a pretty nice view, and you can do this on any market. You don't have the ball market, you don't have the C points, and you don't have this, and you don't have that. I didn't write that in. The machine is doing that. Um, let's see, and we can slide over here. Um, this was our little. This is this. Yeah, see what they. This is beautiful, right? This is the Fickle Finger of Fate Award. That's when the hedges blew in. Right? Probably got a head start. The machine got long over here. Oh, this is probably the 830 number. Is that what that is? Yeah, 835. Yeah, 835. So that was the economic number. But they were buying in here, and the machine picked it up in advance. And now, everyone just got blown out. Anybody got short yesterday or bought into some shit or whatever, they just blew them all out. And it's a way of keeping them off balance, right? They got to keep and it's easy to do. They got to keep the American public is like any other public, just like the German public, just like the Canadian public or the Belgian public. The public is the public. They're busy. They're doing other things. Their eyes glaze over. They have their sense of history, their sense of everything is only their own existence. And for the most part, most of them don't read, right? They don't read. They probably didn't even read in school, but once they're done with school, they don't read. And I'm not even talking about the college kids. You know, you ever see that when they walk around the college campuses and ask them the most basic questions about U.S. history, and they're dumb as a box of rocks, and they're getting dumber. So it's pretty easy to fool them. Um, they're not going to fool us, right? No, 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 it's not going to happen. But um, but that's what they did. They blew it out, and we just may have to wait. May have to wait another day, to get some off of here some decent trades. I'm certainly not going to short it up here, and I'm not going to buy it up here either. I wouldn't short it. What one could do is try to come in, but the big move, the move was to get on it in here with the machine. Now, see, you can say, well, it got in here, but you can see the machine is doing it, but it's keeping your losses really, really small. You take a shot at it, and it's so machined that that it's going to keep putting you in position. So it's kind of like being a baseball batter, right? I always make the thing that, a baseball batter doesn't bat 1,000. He doesn't hit the ball every time. He may have to foul one off, foul one off, foul one off, to keep himself at bat. Then every once in a while he gets the pitch and boom, he gets a hit, or he gets, sometimes it's extra bases and sometimes it's just whatever. But, if you're sleeping in, or you don't have the tools, and you want to just kind of wing it, then, that you get what you get. Let's go look at the options market. Now, I was kind of interested in Tesla yesterday, and she pulled back. So let's go take a look at and we were asked by a gentleman from Belgium about Tesla. So I want to go and look at it. Let's go get it. Um, where do I want to? Okay, so let's look at NASDAQ swing machine. All right, so we're just going to sort these in order. You know what? I'll do it this way. Let's go look at Tesla. Oops, slide this up here. So here are some stocks. We got them in alphabetical order. Here's Tesla. You know, dang it. Kidding. But I hope the gentleman from Belgium, and I'm sorry I had a hard time pronouncing your name, so I won't embarrass myself. I hope you're listening. Let me know. Because he was mentioning Tesla, and I think he wanted to go long, and I'm like, I kind of like that trade. Yesterday, um, uh, most of retail are banking on one home run hit to win. Yeah, exactly. Keiko, you got it. You got it. You got it figured out. You do. You're exactly right. Yeah, yeah. They wanna come in with just one trade, and hit the home run. And they never even go to bat. They don't have any baseball skill, exactly. Tesla was trading yesterday at 406. Do you remember? And it was down in here. It was down in here. And it was still a long on a daily basis. And I'm thinking, it would be a pretty decent place to get a call option on Tesla. Now, if you did it for just a week or two, that trade, if you put it on now, yesterday it pulled back from there another 5 or 6 points. So you could have got Tesla below 400 on a call option for yesterday. If you got it for like 10 days, you just nailed it. You're going to be up a few grand, so congratulations. So this is where we get them. Let's go look at the option tool. So let me give you some option ideas. Oh, see, this is, you guys, you're not monthly members, so you don't see this, right? But they did. So at yesterday, let me sort this. Yeah, okay. So before yesterday's close, these stocks, these stocks were generating this suggestion. So you can see here, I mean, if you on here, we just picked this one. I mentioned this one last night in the video, Cadence Design Systems. But if you had seen it, at the end of the day, and you sold the put credit spread, she's up $8, you're looking really good, you know. We mentioned Netflix last night in the nightly video. Netflix, right? But again, you don't have to wait. If you're an annual member, you got these tools on your desktop and you've been taught how to use them. So you don't have to wait for me to say, we want you in there, go look in the last half hour of the day And Netflix would have been you, so you could have got a call on Netflix that would have paid a couple grand. You could have got the call on Tesla that would have paid a few grand. You could have got a put credit spread here that would have paid out. I mean, it's just there, you know? There's just so much opportunity being presented to you quietly, no noise, signals over noise. And then you just need to know how and what is available to you to trade, right? You don't have to go to the same restaurant every single day and say, I'll have I'm going to have a grilled cheese. You know, I mean, you know, you might mix it up a little bit, maybe get a cheeseburger. Oh, that's the same thing. So you've got to, if you want to optimize to be the best trader you can be, you want to, in general, embrace the uncertainty. You're going to learn a lot. Every day is going to be different. Embrace that if you can. If you don't, if you've been in a job and in a career, you get up at a certain time, you do this at a certain time, you have lunch at a certain time, you have a break at a certain time, you go home at a certain time, you do all that, you're probably going to struggle. But if you're someone else like, you know what, man, I'm gonna get grabbed today by the balls, man, and I don't know. I'm gonna be doing this, I'm gonna be doing that, I'm gonna be doing this, and I'm really interested in what I'm doing, and I'm pushing the envelope, and I'm gonna be challenging my comfort level, and you know, um, I think you're gonna do just fine. Let's go over here and look at Euphoria. So these are the stocks. It's quite a bit now. So you want to start looking now, even here. Wow. Interesting. These were in. So this is where we get them. Wow, there's quite a bit. There's quite a bit in Euphoria. So the market is, once again, short terms, a little extended. Today's only Wednesday. So you don't want to have all short trades on. You don't want to have all long trades on. You probably want to have always a little few more longs than shorts. But so I kind of want to come down and look here. Here's iSurge. Now we're also rolling into earnings season. So you've got to be on individual stocks and individual options in earnings season. You're going to have to find out when the earnings are. And I don't suggest that you put on any trades in front of earnings. I wouldn't. We don't. As a general rule, we usually wait. The options are better. So, be careful with these. But, something like iSurge, it's a hedge fund hotel. All the hedge funds own that. So I don't know. But this is Capital One up here. Up $5, $190. That would interest me. I'd want to go look at Capital One. The machine is suggesting a put debit spread, and that would be like for 35, 45 days. So that could be kind of interesting. Let's see what else we got here. I can't believe GE is $180 a share. That's crazy. I haven't traded GE. I don't know. I think that stock is reverse split. You talk about a game, right? GE used to be, very expensive stock. They blew it apart. The company was a scam. But it's GE. And then it got below $5 a share. And there's many mutual funds, hedge funds, a lot of the funds can't buy stock underneath $5 a share. So GE reverse split the stock, reducing the amount of shares to get the stock price up above five. And then, when I look at it, it's now like 180. It's just, it is what it is, right? Look at this one. This is Government Sachs. These are the people that really rule the world. Now they're suggesting a put on Government Sachs here. So at $600, that would interest me, maybe, Um, you don't have to do a put right at 600. Just make sure you don't get in front of earnings. But that could be interesting. Or a person they could do what? Maybe sell a call at 600, 605, and then buy a call like at 615, 620, something like that. Sell a call credit spread. That might be interesting. Also notice like all the banks, see, That's why Goldman Sachs, all the financials weren't participating, but they are now. Here's Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, American Express, because they're making money hand over fist. The interest rates are rising. The spread is rising. That's what the Federal Reserve is there to do, is to help the banks make money. They're buds. They're partners. Here's JP Morgan. Look at them all. The banks are running. Zion, they'll pull back the next few days, so you'd be playing for the pullback. It's that's their benefactor. That's their big daddy, you know? That's their sugar daddy. It's a banking cartel, and the Federal Reserve is their sugar daddy. That's all it is. You could ask, you could go in to every football stadium, you know, on Thanksgiving week in the United States, ask, 1,000 people, who and what is the Federal Reserve? And they would look at you like you got three heads. They don't know. They have no idea. None. They could have, engineering degrees and doctors and everything else. They have no idea. And what concerns me about the crypto crowd is they do get it, but they learned and they learned late, and then they think that they're the smartest kid in the room, that they know something that nobody else knows. It's like, no, not exactly. Most people don't know, but but you weren't like the first ones to figure it out, right? We've known for a long time, and I wasn't the first one to figure it out either, but whatever. I mean, there are people that do know. I want to let's go look at the interest rates. Here's the yield curve and see, and this is the yields. So yields down, bonds up, yields down, market up. And this is what's juicing the banks. You know, Here's the yield curve. This is being done automatically. The spread is actually tightening though a little bit, right? It's the yields on the far end. So this could get interesting, right? So the knee-jerk reaction here. So you want to have an economic, we don't trade on this, right? We don't. But this is going to be the catch. Notice the 5 years down 118, 114, almost 100 basis points. That's a big move. Look at the short term, 90-day, five. So what happens is the spread between the 10 and here tightens. So the knee-jerk reaction is, the rates go down. Oh, that's great. And then the banks run and the market runs. But then it may not be so great if these could start falling precipitously, but not falling for good reasons either. And then what happens is we go back into an inversion, and these rates we could come back weeks from now, months from now, and the 10-year could be at 3%. I don't know. I'm not going to get into a forecast on it, but I'm just dramatizing it. And this could be at 4 or 4.2 still. And this would be fully inverted again. And then the market won't like that at all, because that'll be for bad reasons. Then the Fed, Trump will want his head. He's not going to want to cut because of the inflation, but they ultimately will. It is one big banking cartel. It absolutely is. It is. It's a club. I mean, you're not in it, Keiko, nor am I. George Carlin. So that's what we're looking at. We'll slide you back to, if there's anything else you want to see, we just want to give you a glimpse. It is 11:38. I was a little late, so we're not going to be on much longer. We'll just kind of answer any questions. Um, and dipping. but the yield curve is actually tightened, so it's possible. Let's just go take a peek, see if we can pick off one little trade here. Let me, not going to do much. All right, so she's really dipping. Okay, I'm sorry. The 1 minute did go short. All right, so I'll do this manually, and I'm going to use micros because I don't want to, I just don't want to put on too much risk. Bear with me. See if we get this up. Oh, you stinker. I got to open up another. Let me get this going here. A little late. So what type of trade would the 1 minute have been? It would have been a counter trade to the five. Um, so we'll go in with the N, no, MNQH 25. These will be micros, and we'll just do three. We'll see if we can pick it off. We're late. We're right at the top of that spike. It'll be difficult, trying to fade this because it was such a big move. I think they got it wrong, right? I think whoever is, doing this or buying into this is they got it backwards. We think these rallies, should be sold. I don't want anyone, trying to shadow or mimic a trade. So try to take what I say and try to put on a trade. That isn't good. You don't want to do that with anyone or anything. I'm a big proponent of, learning to trade your game. It's your money. It's, you've worked hard for it. It's your future. It's your outcome. I encourage you to be your own guru, right? Now we have just three little micros on. How much margin am I using? Do you know? It's $240 per. So how much is that? 600, $720 a margin, right? So it's not a lot. This, if we had done that, I mean, we would have been up, if we had done a micro, we would have been up 100, we would have been up $300 if we had taken it. I was goofing off, I wasn't paying attention to the 1 minute. So you could have. It would have been $300. You make $300 a day? Forget about this. You weren't up for it. We didn't get it. Forget about it. But it's gone. But if you make $300 a day in 20 days, and a month, you make $6,000 for your family. That works. That'd be nice. Little supplement, little goose. Take your partner out to dinner, it helps. $100 is $2,000. This is the 5 minute chart. So this is the 5 minutes. So it's just dipping. That's just why this is yellow and the paint bar is yellow. The momentum, the momentum is very, very strong, but the near-term momentum is going down. So it is a counter trade. It is a counter trade. And so we've got to be, probably aggressive. But the trick is, or the challenge is, and what you need to know is every trend starts with a counter. But not every counter is a new trend. So That's the tricky part. Kago says he'd be a millionaire in Jamaica, but with that money, I know. I know. One trade, folks. One trade. Very simple. This is the first thing in Q School we're going to teach you. I'm going to send it to you. Hopefully you have TradeStation. We run through the scenarios, and we need this to be we want it to be, and you want it to be second nature. Like, you don't even have to think about it. It's like brushing your teeth. All you do is you just react. You just do it, right? It's it's a beautiful thing, and you just don't want to fight it. The likelihood is, though, okay, the probability is this dip is going to fail. What do I mean by that? She's actually going to go back long. I don't know. Don't let me create angst, but I know the probability is that she will do that, but she may not, right? So all I can do is control what I can control. Now I got a decision to make. Do I take the $150, put it in my pocket, wait for the next one? The likelihood is that it's going to go back long. And if it goes back long, I could have the $150 in my pocket and go long, and I'll make the money. I'll make more money and I'll make it faster. However, if it is the start of a gap and crap where she's gonna, they gapped them up, the public markets got gapped, right? Because this happened at 8:30. So the SPY, those people looking at a gap on their chart, the public didn't get to trade until 9:30. They trade the ETFs, and there's a gap there. And so that can be what they call a gap and crap. They trap everybody, get everybody all excited. They bring out all the talking heads. That was great news, great economic number. And then the neophyte shorts, they all cover, and then they take it all away. So it could be that, right? And a lot of times there are traders that'll come down. You don't see the gap on the futures, but on your S&P, if you get the SPY, you get a gap. And a lot of times it'll come back down to the gap. And if the gap holds, then they might resupport it. But if the gap doesn't hold, then the whole thing could reverse. I don't know if it would reverse today per se, but because it's a pretty big gap. But I think it's probably going to reverse the next couple of days. I'm not surprised at this bounce at all. We told our members that last night in about a 10-minute video. I'm not watching the chart. I'm watching the radar. I'm watching the 1 minute, and I don't see any buying in the 1 minute. If the 1 minute gets back down and panic down in here, I might just take my money and run. I'm not really a big chart watcher. I like to watch the radars. And I prefer to have the machine do it. If I had programmed the machine, I didn't. Had I on the 1 minute, which we could have, right? We would be up, if a mini would be up 15, 1600, with one micro would be up 160. With three of them, we would be up three times 160. What is that? Six, $700. To your point, Keiko, about people wanting to, hit. It's the same thing like at the start of the year, people that want to lose weight, right? They just want to go to the gym once and lose 100 pounds. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. You're going to have to, change your eating habits. You're going to have to get to the gym, a few times a week. And, you've got to do some work. And in another month, they won't go. Trading, they think, it's just, they think it's easy. I mean, it is if you're disciplined. Nice little gap there. See it? See, they're hitting there's gaps in here. There was a buying panic this morning. I didn't see it. I was on the phone. And again, I want to thank you. You guys keep pushing those like buttons and keep retweeting us. And so we're getting all kinds of phone calls and conversations with folks all over the world. I've been saying that. Singapore, well, we didn't talk to the gentleman in Singapore. We actually signed up Singapore, new monthly member, Netherlands, new Q school, Norway. That wow, Norway. No, that's a place we haven't been. I would think Norway would be absolutely beautiful, even in the winter. I think it would. I just, Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a deal with you. I'm going to set a stop where I'm guaranteed to make $100. So I'm going to do because I've got to get to work. I got other things I have to do, and I'm going to set that stop. And let me go in here and do this. Make sure I do the right thing. Yep. And I am short, so this will be a buy stop. I'm going to do it right at 103.50. So I'm guaranteed to make $100 at this point. You see the little asterisk up there. And then I'm fine. As long as the electric stays up, and it should, then we get back up. And I've got to get to work, but I'm going to let you watch. And if you've got any other, oh, there's Daniel. Hey, Daniel, visit the fjords of Norway. Beautiful during this. Oh, Daniel, I'd absolutely love that. Would love to see it. Good to see you. Beautiful. Daniel, you're getting into the nightly video and everything okay? Getting in there, I hope. You let me know. I don't know, Daniel, if Norway, if you have TradeStation or not. I hope you might have that option, but what platform? A little bit closer to us, of course, is British Columbia. in which is the western side of Canada, and that is gorgeous too. Gorgeous country. So everything's working fine. Good, good. Me, gonna see if I can open up a chart. I want to show everybody what I mean by a gap, the gap in craps. Let me see. Can I get a chart in here? Here it is here. Let's get a chart open. All right, so I'm gonna put this on the SPY, SPY. It's the S&P ETF. Yeah, see what they do? See that gap? Now that's see, we're coming down right down to the gap. And there are programs out there. This is the SPY. You're going to see it on a daily, but on a 5 minute, you can see it. So it gapped up here. So the public markets, when they started trading, that's where they got it. They could get it down here. The futures, of course, got it. If that trades one tick below, notice it came very, very close. There are programs that will exploit that and will come down and fill the gap. Now, if that fails, then it's a gap and crap, and all hell could break loose over the next couple of days. There'll be parties interested in trying to maintain that. Gap ups, gap ups always get filled. So here are, see this one here? Here was a gap. Let me get my marker. They always get filled. It's just a question of when. But when it's the whole market, they usually do it pretty early. So here's a gap in here. And notice there was 1 day, two, three. Actually, no, this is 5 minute, 5 minute. So, but they will. Let's put it on a daily so we can see it. And I'll show you what it means. So gap ups always get filled, matter of time. Gap downs don't have to get filled. So let's put this on a daily view. So, so for instance, this will be fun. So let's do this. So here's a gap right here, right? A gap up. But it turned out to be a breakaway gap, and she went up and then they tried to fill it over here, but it didn't. So this is a gap has yet to be filled. It will get filled. It may be months, it will get filled. Here's a gap, but it got filled in here. Um, let's see, that's a gap down. These are gap downs. I'm looking for gap ups. So here's a gap here. Crazy. And it didn't get, and see how they supported it? And then still, and they never filled it. That will get filled. Probably going to get filled soon because now we do this action and this is this gap here. It's unusual that it'll come back and fill it the same day, but it could. It absolutely could. But the next 2, 3 days, it will get filled and will probably be right back down. And they're probably going to fill that one too. These rallies, these gaps, when you know what's taking place and there are opportunities to sell. And they do this so that the hedge funds, they need the public to support this crap. They need them to keep their money in so that they can get theirs out. Oh, that's really good, Daniel. What you would want to check is the version, right? So TradeStation is available in some countries through Interactive Brokers, which is 9.5. It's okay, but you can't automate. But you can use, just about everything we have, but you wouldn't be able to automate. Um, but if you have 10.0 and you have the same version, then you're good. That would be great. If ever you don't want to go further, I'm not assuming that or anything. But so this is kind of where we be. And you can see we may have had a little gap here. There's a little excitement in here. Looks like there was a little gap. and then it got filled the next day, and that was that. So not excited about this. And you can see the trend headed down. A little bit of a wedge. People talking about a head and shoulder. You got a little head up here. This left shoulder up in here. It's a topping pattern. It also tops are a rounded affair, right? Rounded. It's kind of like a reverse cup. Then they'll get a little spike, and then they usually go. So this is a big, big topping pattern. I think this is a big, big top. So if you have options and they're out to March, I think those options are good puts. If you did place those kinds of bets, and I happen to know some people that have. But when you get these rallies, they can be disconcerting because, and so what you can do is if you got options, put options out to March, when you get these little spikes and you get these little oversold, you can buy call options for a few days or a week or two, and then collect your money and then pull them off. But this bitch is headed down in our view. I don't think we'll see. Now, again, we don't trade like this in a big way, right? I can go and look, we got machinery to do it. Bottoms are V bottoms and go. See the V's. V's. Tops are rounded. I don't, it's just the way it is. So we're sitting right at the top of that gap, and I gotta get some work done. I'm gonna let you watch. Any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And before we sign off, now Zoom, by the way, Zoom's got 25 hours into us. If it ends abruptly, it wasn't me, it was Zoom. We'd have to reboot. So I'll apologize in advance if that happens. Um, they usually cut us off at 24 hours. Sometimes it goes a little bit longer, and then we just have to reboot it. But I won't be coming back up on okay, we just got stopped, folks. We just got stopped. So we made $100. We're gonna bring it to an end. I want to thank you for stopping by, Daniel. Go slow. Market's here every day. And Keiko, good to see you. And maybe I don't know if we'll be up tomorrow or not, but any questions, let us know. I'll wait a couple of minutes if there's any questions, then we do have to run. Hey Keiko, joining TradeStation right now. Hopefully we have the same version as Keiko, where are you? I thought you were here in the States. I thought you were here in the States. Where you be? We decided to try it. We'll try to take it up. This should be an easier trade than the short. You should be able to pull this off. Remember I said the likelihood was that the short would fail, and there's a greater likelihood that the 1 minute will go long. And if it does, we'll make the money faster and easier, hopefully. We'll see. We only got three micros while I'm just waiting for Keiko. I'm just curious where he's at. What country? Okay. Once again, we just took the quick profit. We got our little marker here. So we had two little trades for 131 bucks, right? Not every day is going to be 4 grand. Doesn't need to be, right? Whatever your plan is, your goal. You got to lay out your plan and and then execute that plan and do it over and over and over again until it becomes second nature to you. And then it really doesn't matter if it's a micro or a mini or, as long as you stay proportionate. Could I put enough firepower in there to get my blood going, get the juice going? Yes, I'm human, right? Am I going to do that? No, no, I'm not going to do that. No. Nope. I don't drink. I don't smoke weed. I'm a sober person. Actions have consequences. Just going to enjoy my ride. I wish everyone the best. The version of trade station that we have here in the States, I can tell you all, share with you. Um, Let me go there. We have version 10.0 update 1266 is my latest version. 10.0 is the key one. In some countries, it's 9.5, and sometimes countries it's available through Interactive. All of our programs will work on that. That's fine. But it's my understanding, could be wrong. I'm not a representative of trade stations, so don't, hold me to this, but it's my understanding that you may not be able to use the automation part. That's not a real, depending upon what you're doing, if you're a swing trader and an options trader and, not trading, here we didn't optimize what we did here today, so we didn't optimize, we didn't automate it. I'm sorry. And I came out a little early, didn't I? Um, but I said even as we were dipping down and drifting down, that the likelihood is that this would fail, that we wouldn't just the bottom wouldn't fall out. Now it forms a little wedge, gets a little support, and we run back up. Ultimately, it will collapse. But over here on a simple 5 minute chart over here, you can see actually this is the daily. Let's just put this back on just the 5 minute and you can see what they did. This is the SPY. This is the SPY. So the public markets couldn't participate earlier this morning. They weren't open. They don't have access to their money and they gap them up. And then the bottom of this gap, top of the gap, however you want to look at it, but that low is 589.29. And what do? We come back down and what is this? Isn't that crazy? The low of that is 589.50. And then we start to go higher. So what do they say? They're like, oh, okay, then I guess that price is valid. But the hedge funds are trapping them. The hedge funds know where that is. And they're like, we're protecting it. If we come back down here, start buying. And that's what they're doing. They're buying. But can they get above that? But mark my words, next couple of days, my guess is we're going to fill this. We'll come, that would be my guess. I don't think this is a breakaway gap. It's a question of when we come back and fill it. Could be next week. And then when we do fill it, we get down in here again, then they'll decide, okay, is that a fair price? And if it is, then we could trade back up. If not, and we start trading down, then everybody who bought up here will dump and will leg down. And anybody who's got options, put options out to March, will be riding heavy. They're trying to get you off their back. They're always, that's what this, for the hedge funds, they're doing it with each other, not doing it with us per se. They're doing it with each other, and they're trying to get their competitors off their back. And the retail crowd have no idea what's going on. They just run it around. They they don't influence anything. They just, they're oh, okay. My residency is oh, I see. I've got to run. Wish everyone the best.